And for a lot of us, we want people to click our link in bio, especially if you're being strategic with that link. I certainly want to highlight that since that is a major difference from my advice right now versus my advice last year. What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel, the best place for new coaches, content creators, and entrepreneurs. In today's video, I want to share with you the 5 ideas on Instagram that I think anyone could do in 2021 in order to get more reach and get more followers this year. So if you're interested in learning the 5 ideas that I have, then keep on watching. Now the first idea that I have for you is a secondary call to action. Now some of you guys might be wondering, what exactly is a secondary call to action? I've never heard of before. Well, you've likely never heard of it because I made it up. It's something that I realized over time in my business that I seriously needed, and so I developed this strategy for my students inside my program, the Bossgram Academy, where we not only have tons of lessons when it comes to building a business and launching a one-on-one coaching program, but we also have tons of lessons about Instagram. And one of those lessons when it comes to caption writing include having a secondary call to action. But before I do that, let me explain to you what a primary call to action is first. Now, a primary call to action is basically another word that I made up, but it's essentially the call to action that you see in a lot of Instagram posts. For instance, comment below if this resonates, or double tap if you like this. Now, these are crucial for any Instagram strategy because it allows you to have short-term engagement. It encourages people to either comment or like your post. Now, what you have to think about it in a business perspective though, even though having a call to action like this is really beneficial for the short term, you also want to think about the long term as well, especially if you sell a product, a service, or maybe you're trying to build your email list. That's where a secondary call to action comes into play. And specifically, what I like to do is something I like to call the PS strategy. So let me share a post that I did. What you'll notice is I have a primary call to action that invites my followers to either comment on my post or like it. However, I follow it up with PS, and this PS leads to my free training, or it could lead to my paid program, or it could lead to a lead magnet that I have. This is something that is meant to drive traffic to my link in bio. And whatever is in my link in bio generally leads to me building my email list, selling my program, or something else. And so if you're a business owner and you're not doing a secondary call to action, you definitely should reconsider that for 2021 and add that in your strategy right away. It doesn't take up any more time, and it actually allows your posts to be even more strategic, because even if someone is creeping your profile, they can look at your previous post, read your captions, and still have instructions on where they need to go after they've consumed your content. And for a lot of us, we want people to click our link in bio, especially if you're being strategic with that link. Now, if you're someone who's watching this and you're just a content creator, you don't really have a product or service yet, I highly recommend that you check out this free training that I have right here at www.followerstoclients.com. Inside, I go over how I went from being just a content creator to monetizing my audience, selling a service, and being able to hit 10K per month consistently, then scaling up to 6 figures, and then scaling up to what I have now, which is 7 figures. So make sure you click the link in my description box or in the comment section below to access this free training where I share all the information when it comes to monetizing your following on Instagram. Now, moving on to the second idea that I have for you to implement this year is Instagram guides. I noticed that not a lot of people are utilizing this awesome tool, including myself, until I stumbled upon this account. I was looking for vegan Taiwanese recipes and I found this profile, and I was so overwhelmed with all the content that he had, especially since cooking is not my strong suit. And so for me, I went to his guides. And as you can see for this particular foodie account and recipe account, when I go to the guides, he has all of his posts organized by category: vegan Thai food, vegan sweets and treats, the basics. And so when I click on that guide, I'm able to see all the posts that are related to that topic. And as a consumer or as a follower, it makes it a lot easier for me to access content that I'm actually interested in instead of sifting through his entire feed. So if you're someone who's watching this and you've never heard of guides before, let me show you how you can create one because it's super easy. What you want to do is you want to click this plus sign, and then right at the bottom, you'll see guide. When you click on guide, you can choose places, products, or posts. I recommend that you do posts because then you're going to be able to drive traffic to the actual post. Now, if you're an e-commerce website, then choosing products would probably be more strategic for you. But if you are a service-based business like me, I think post is a really great start. Now, once you select post, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick the post that you wanna put in your guide. So just for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna pick 3 random posts. Once you've selected your post, you can then add a title. You can also change the cover photo. And then for each post that you've selected, you can add a description and another title as well. This allows a lot of your information to be consolidated, and especially if someone is a new follower, it'll give them even more reason to follow you, especially since you've organized your post that way, so it's easy to access the information that they were looking for. And once they find that information and they like it, then who knows, maybe they'll decide to give you a follow. Moving on to the third idea that I have for you for this year that you should be implementing right now if you aren't already, is something that I also developed for my students inside my program, the Boss Gram Academy, and that is the photo bait method. This is a method that I developed because I noticed how much it was working for me. When I was looking at my analytics, I noticed that any post that had a photo of myself always performed way better than posts like this where it was just a quote. And so I realized that, hey, I really love the idea that this picture of myself generates a lot of engagement in terms of likes and comments. However, I want to keep posts like this that allows me to get more shareability and also allows me to generate more sales because I'm creating content that converts. Now, if you don't know what content that converts is or what it looks like, again, make sure you visit this free training that I have at www.followerstoclients.com. I actually give you concrete examples of what content that converts looks like and why having a photo of yourself is not necessarily going to help you convert sales, but having something like this will. So make sure you check out the training in my description box or in my comment section below. But anyways, I wanted to have both the engagement that I get from posting a selfie and the shareability and sales that I get from creating content like this that allows me to have more virality and increase my reach. And so I combined it, and this is what I came up with. Here, what I have is I bait my followers with a photo of myself so it stops the scroll. However, I encourage them in the caption to swipe so that they can see all the content. Now, there are definitely some pros to this. Number one, of course, I get the engagement since people tend to like photos of myself and they tend to engage more with that piece of content. Because I'm creating more shareable content within the carousel, if they want to share that to their audience, they absolutely can via their story. So that actually increases my reach. Not only this, for any captions that are a little bit too long, because let's be real, nobody wants to read your essay in the caption because there's no breathability. By splitting it up into a carousel, that allows more retention and more engagement. Because very similar to videos on YouTube where there is a watch time, there's a read time on Instagram as well. People don't want to read an entire essay squished underneath your posts. And when you create a carousel, it just makes things a lot easier. And especially if you're using my content that converts methods and you create content that actually brings in more leads to your business, then ba-boom, doing this method will actually allow you to get more sales and more leads into your pipeline. So definitely make sure, if you're not doing it already, to implement this strategy in 2021. Now, piggybacking off of the idea that I just gave you with the photo bait method, I also want to talk to you about the fourth idea, and that is creating shareable content in general. Now, the photo bait method is really great, but let's be real, you don't want to have your entire feed to be photos of you, especially if that's what's performing. And if you don't know what performs, I highly recommend that you check out your insights, filter through reach, and actually see what posts from top to bottom perform the best and start replicating posts like that. For me personally, it's photos of myself, but at the same time, I don't want my feed to be just filled with photos of me. And so I stagger it and I have content like this that actually increases shareability because, like I said earlier, nobody wants to share a photo of me. But creating a quote like this gets a lot of shares, as you can see from my analytics. And what's really interesting is I actually had an experiment. I realized that creating posts like this that literally takes me less than 10 minutes to create on Canva actually performs just as good or even better than posts like this, where I actually paid a graphic designer to create custom content for me. Now, this is also really awesome, but I realized that if you're on a budget, doing a post like this actually will yield the same, if not better results. And on top of that, you also get to save some money. And so I definitely want to share that because I know in my previous videos last year in 2020, my strategy was to hire a graphic designer, create shareable content like that. But over time, I realized that the results were pretty much the same, and if not even better with this. And so I certainly want to highlight that, since that is a major difference from my advice right now versus my advice last year. Now, moving on to the fifth idea that I think you should be implementing in 2021 when it comes to your Instagram strategy if you want to get more reach and more followers, is really obvious and a lot of people are saying it, and that is Instagram Reels. Reels. But on top of that, I think that if you're gonna be doing Instagram Reels anyways, you should also be on TikTok. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, another platform to manage. Honestly, if you're already gonna be creating content on IG Reels, why not also just do it on TikTok and reshare it to IG Reels? This is literally what I've been doing so far for my TikTok and Instagram Reel strategy. And I actually have a video right here where I show the behind the scenes of how I create my TikTok and Instagram Reel content. Now, I know. Recently, there was an article, and many articles actually, that say that Instagram will actually limit the reach on videos that are repurposed from TikTok. So what I've noticed that the social media community has come up with is an easier way to remove the TikTok watermark versus this video that I have right here, where I also share another way to remove the TikTok watermark, but I realized that people have found an even more efficient way. So let me share my screen and show you how to do it. So if you're gonna remove a TikTok watermark, what you're gonna do is you're gonna select the video, and if you wanna remove this watermark, you're gonna copy the link right here, and then you're gonna go to snaptik.app, paste the link, download it, and once you've done that, you can download it again. And once you've downloaded it, it's gonna look like this without the watermark. So as you can see from this video, the watermark is completely removed. Now, if you're watching this and you're still not convinced that you should be on TikTok, I wanna tell you something. I posted TikTok content for maybe a week or two, and I had already grown my account from basically nothing to 20,000 followers on TikTok without really doing anything, while also increasing the reach on my Instagram. And so that's why if you are doing IG Reels already, it honestly doesn't hurt to also be on TikTok. Link your TikTok account to your Instagram so that you can also grow your following on both platforms. Two birds with one stone is the way to go this year, and so I highly recommend to do this if you haven't already, especially knowing the fact that Instagram is really trying hard to compete with TikTok, and the algorithm has been really loose both on TikTok and on Instagram Reels. Now, so far in this video, I've given you 5 ideas that you can implement right away when it comes to your Instagram strategy in 2021. However, if you are someone who wants to go beyond just Instagram, beyond just social media, and you want to build a business that thrives, make sure you visit the free training that I have at www.followerstoclients.com. It's literally free, and by the end of this training, you're gonna walk away with 3 step-by-step strategies that you can implement right away, on top of super useful content. So if you like my YouTube videos, you're definitely going to like these trainings because I literally share my screen and walk you through business and social media strategy. So make sure you click the link in the comment section and in the description box below to access this free training. I always post videos on marketing, social media, and entrepreneurship. So while you wait for next week's video, make sure you check out these 2 videos that I have right here because I promise they will not disappoint. As always, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and a great life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.